Welcome to the program. I'm Sharon Mommanyi. Our sign language interpreter tonight is Maresha Awiti. Let's start with some politics now. And the Mali National Congress Party leader Musalia Mudavadi is accusing the government of undertaking economic diplomacies that are shrouded in mysteries by taking its cronies to negotiate and sign agreements aimed at benefiting few faceless individuals at the expense of taxpayers. On the much talked about opposition super alliance, Mudavadi says the alliance will not only be limited to political parties, but civil society unions and even churches who are determined to remove Jubilee Party from power. Duncan Kayamba begins our bulletin tonight.
Amani National Congress Party leader Musalia Mudavadi was meeting teachers in Nairobi under the caucus Nairobi Mulembe Teachers Association when he tore into Jubilee administration, which he accused of continuing to entrench corruption in the country.
This economic diplomacy is shrouded in secrecy. When they went to Tokyo, which businessmen signed the MOUs? When they went to China, which businessmen signed MOUs? Where is the transparency?
Mudavadi is demanding that Parliament scrutinizes all economic treaties the government has been undertaking as a matter of urgency.
I think it is also time to make an amendment to some of these laws so that if there are people who are profiting from this economic diplomacy and signing off MOUs, can we know who they are?
He laments that at the moment, Kenya's dilemma is the rapid accumulation of commercial debts, which have pushed the public debt to shocking levels.
Which programs are being funded by commercial debt and which ones are being funded by concessionary debt? Treasury must come clean and define and make public what is concessionary debt.
On politics of the day, the ANC party leader confirmed his party has given him green light to form an alliance with other opposition leaders.
2013 kodi walienda njia yao wakaanguka. Wakirudia tena vile wanaenda mahali wanafanya nini? Wataanguka, si ndio? Tena Mudavadi alienda hili akaanguka. Akirudia tena mahali wanafanya nini? Wakiungana pamoja watapata nini? Ushindi. Hiyo ndio tunasema National Super Alliance ni muhimu.
Use your influence to unite our people. But this time round, we are very serious in going to the top, because politics is not politics if you also have no ambition to get to the top.
A national alliance can be an alliance that will also partner with the civil society, the churches, the teachers, business societies who want to change the country for a positive cause.
Sentiments that were echoed by CORD co-principal Moses Wetangula.
17 mabadiliko inakuja na sisi wana CORD na wale wote ambao wanatujoin. Tunamkaribisha ndugu yangu Musalia, tunakaribisha Mama Karua, tunakaribisha Gideon Moi, tunakaribisha Ole Isaac Ruto na wengine wote. Na nyinyi wananchi msimame imara. CORD tuko tayari. CORD.
On Sunday, Mudavadi will be in his Western Kenya home turf as he begins assembling his troops in readiness for the new alliance to be made public soon. Duncan Kayamba, KTN.
Let's stay with politics, and Deputy President William Ruto has criticized CORD leader Raila Odinga's proposal to the international community to fund opposition political parties to stimulate democracy. Raila yesterday told a London political summit that the tendency to shower incumbent governments with foreign aid and ignoring the opposition has encouraged the governing parties to engage in corruption, dictatorship and lack of accountability. Patrick Amimo reports.
The Deputy President William Ruto was at Buhalarire High School in Busia County for a fundraiser. But CORD leader Raila Odinga's push for foreign funding of opposition political parties has not gone down well with Ruto. On Friday, Raila told a London political summit that the West's undivided support for the ruling parties in the name of fighting terrorism and containing China's influence would boomerang on them. Raila said the international community's one-sided support for ruling parties feeds the notion that opposition to the government of the day is unpatriotic and amounts to sabotaging the national agenda. The opposition chief warned of return of dictatorships if the West continues to fund the ruling parties and ignore the opposition. Raila said the West must show unequivocal support for free and fair elections. Ruto says it was unfortunate that opposition leaders led by Raila Odinga were soliciting for financial support from outsiders ahead of the 2017 general election.
Sasa nimesikia hawa ndugu zetu wameenda huko, ati wameenda kutafuta ati wazungu kuja kulipa pesa, ati ndio wananchi wafanye ati kuamua. Kwani mimi nauliza nyinyi watu wa Busia, hamuwezi kujiamulia viongozi mpaka wageni na wazungu walete pesa hapa ndio muweze kujiamulia viongozi wenu ni kina nani? 2013 walituletea ukarabati hapo ya makesi. Eti ndio wazungu waamue nani ataongoza Kenya. Wananchi wa Kenya walikataa hiyo plan. 2017 vile vile wa Kenya wataamua ni kina nani viongozi, sio wazungu.
CORD leader Raila Odinga enjoys massive support in Busia County. The ruling Jubilee is keen to have a share of the rich voting bloc.
Nikisema Jubilee mnasema hulialala. Jubilee hulialala hiyo.
But Ruto's attempt to poach some opposition MPs in attendance failed.
Ni mzuri mtu anaweza kuchagua ile coalition ya siasa anataka, lakini we can also have another coalition ya maendeleo above coalitions za siasa.
We are very very happy on this collabo ambayo umeanzisha na sisi, especially with me, your former schoolmates and classmates. I am very proud of you. Lakini watu huwa wananiambia bwana, pengine ukienda Jubilee sana utaniangusha kura. Wanasema tu nibaki kwa code, nibaki kwa code.
Mimi nauliza nyinyi watu wa Busia, mnataka kuendelea kukaa kwa upinzani? Unajua mtu unajikuta kwa upinzani kwa bahati mbaya. Ulikuwa unajaribu kwenda serikali lakini ikateleza ukaenda upinzani. Lakini mtu huwezi kujipanga asubuhi na mapema ati mimi nataka kwenda kupiga kura ya kwenda upinzani. Hala?
2013 wakati tulianza Mheshimiwa Naibu Rais na URP, mambo ilikuwa ngumu. Lakini kwa sasa mambo sio ngumu. Kama 2013 tuliweza na tukachaguliwa katika URP, na sasa
the leaders urged Kenyans to forge national unity by embracing politics of development. Patrick Amimo, KTN News.
Now, the announcement made by President Kenyatta to release more than 7,000 inmates from various prisons across the country continues to spread a wave of excitement among inmates who walked to freedom hours after the presidential directive. Timothy Otieno highlights the joy and celebrations that characterized the release.
2 days after the president exercised his powers of mercy, and the jig for freedom is still going on. The euphoria not about to die down anytime soon, as more and more inmates make that emotionally overwhelming walk to freedom, 7,000 of them. Robert Malakwen, who has been a friend of the state since 2008, was one among the 200 prisoners who left the Nakuru government prison Saturday morning. He had been jailed for murder, serving an 8-year prison sentence.
Tunafurahi sana. Mpaka sasa tunaambia Mheshimiwa Rais pongezi. Jambo ni busara sana kukumbuka watu wameshatupa mali wakasaulika.
His fate shared by 169 inmates at the Meru government prison.
We've been able to release 88 inmates from main prison, 81 inmates from women prison, a total of 169 inmates from Meru command.
The once petty offenders held here could not hide their joy, singing songs and celebrating freely with prison guards who were their captors just less than 48 hours ago.
Sasa tunashukuru huyo rais wetu kwa kutuachilia. Alafu tunasema hata Mungu amuongezee masiku.
Ninafurahi sana. Nilikuwa nimesikiwa kombe kutoka upande wa Kanyakine Keringa
na sasa nimeokoka, naenda kuimbia Mungu, naenda kufurahia Mungu, naenda kusangilia Mungu nikiwa mama Kaki. Nimeshukuru na hata ninyi, Mungu abariki sana.
The same could be said for freed inmates from Nyeri's Kingongo prison, where 100 people were released.
Nimekuwa prison for 1 year. Nilifungwa last year December tarehe 17th, lakini saa hii nimefunguliwa, niko free. Nilishikwa na tulikuwa tumepigana na kazini ya bwana yangu, nikafungwa miezi 6. Sasa nimeenda 3. Nitaambia Uhuru nimeshukuru na serikali imenisaidia kwa ajili, kama ningekuwa wangenichukua ningekufa madam.
The over 7,000 inmates are hoping that the skills they learned while in prison, coupled with the institution's rehabilitation agenda, will make life in the outside for them more meaningful, even as they seek to walk away from a past that threatened to deny them the freedom they now embrace in totality. Timothy Otieno, KTN News.
And the joy of the over 7,000 inmates who have been pardoned from Timothy's story is indeed palpable. And that forms the basis of our Twitter poll tonight. And we are asking you, how often should the presidential pardon on inmates be given? How often should the presidential pardon on inmates be given? Do tweet us your thoughts at KTN News, at KTN Kenya, or directly to me at Sharon_Mommanyi, and we shall sample your views during this bulletin. Let's move on now. And over 30 people have been shot dead, while others are nursing gunshot wounds at Kerio Valley due to insecurity that has continued to rock 2 neighboring communities in that region. Women and children are now living in caves. More than 4 schools have been temporarily closed, and over 10,000 livestock reportedly stolen by the raiders. Elvis Kosgei has just returned from Kerio Valley and now reports.
Chesatan terrain, dotted by thistles plants on the sides, indicates the hardship of an arid area, leads us to the caves on the Elgeyo escarpment. Children, women and the elderly are nowhere to be seen at the homesteads. Schools, market centers and roads are deserted. They have escaped their only earthly possessions to bask here in solitude. Residents here dread the bloodletting menace which has been characterized by the resurgence of cattle rustling along the Kerio Valley Triangle. Raiders believed to be Pokots in neighboring county are wreaking havoc here, stealing animals and brutally killing those who attempt to stand on their way.
Hata sahi watoto anataramuka huko juu kwa sababu hakuna usalama baada wa chini. So unaona hata mbuzi hakuna, hata wasa hakuna, hata wamama anakuwa Uganda wa chini.
Sasa tuko na shida kabisa. Mtu okoe kabisa kwa sababu hatuna hata usingizi ya kulala. Tunalalanga msituni tu.
Just a day after Bernard Kipkeo narrated to us how Pokot raiders killed his 23-year-old brother, Justin Kiprotich Kipkeo. Drama ensued at Justin's funeral. As the funeral was underway, gunshots rent the air. Gunshots believed to be from Pokot raiders who are said to be a kilometer away.
Na kama itawezekana, kama serikali hawataweza kuongea, sisi wenyewe watuambie tukiami, tuweze kuangalia mahali wanapata mapunduki, tuweze kuuza ile mashamba tuko naye kidogo, tuuza hata ile mifugo imepaka kidogo, na tununue silaha.
School playgrounds have been turned into grazing fields as men clutching bows and arrows stand to guard.
Kuwa kuna askari wenye wanatembea barabarani, badala ya kusaidia wanafunzi kuingia kwa mashule, wakawa ni watu wa kutembea barabarani. Kwa hivyo tukaamua kwamba badala ya wanafunzi kupoteza wanafunzi wetu pamoja na wagaji, tukaamua tufunge shule kwa sababu ya hiyo usalama.
Area leaders and residents are now accusing the government for abandoning them. They have vowed to dump Jubilee Party if things continue to head south.
Deputy President mwenye hata achachukua hatua kuja Marakwet ama hata president, na wakati wa kura walikuja huko. Sasa sisi tutakuwa serikali mpaka lini wakati watu wetu wanaumia?
Watoto wetu wote wameua. wase wameua, tumekaa kama watima. Serikali ya Kenya, serikali ya Jubilee, sisi wa Marakwet, hatuna serikali ya Jubilee, tumekataa.
In a statement released to the newsroom, former Premier Raila Odinga wants Jubilee government to be held accountable. Elvis Kosgei, KTN News, Kasui Village, Elgeyo Marakwet County.
Absolutely devastating news there from Kerio Valley. Well, we want to take a short break now here on KTN Weekend Prime. Don't go too far. More news when we return.
For quick and easy banking on your mobile, like checking your balance or transferring money, use our mobile banking services today. To find out more, visit us online at ecobank.com. Move on up with EcoBank, the Pan-African bank.
Champions unite with Betway.
Champions unite.
Ni Francis Ontomwa nikiwa Mombasa na hii ni KTN News.
Welcome back and many thanks for staying with us here on KTN Weekend Prime. Let's take some other stories now, and it is with no doubt the joy of every woman to have children of her own womb. But for one, Mama Faith Imani, she took a deliberate decision not to give birth and instead take care of the thousands of abandoned children. And as Lofty Matambo narrates, many who know her call her a heroine, especially at this season where many Kenyans are trying to figure out who a true hero is.
Believe it or not, this beautiful, attractive flat is in Kayole's Soweto slums. The welcome here is one of its kind.
You have to protect
maximum protection.
Yes.
Disinfection given the first priority. Something valuable must be protected.
From day 1 to 2 months.
Mama Imani is referring to these beautiful angels brought to her from either hospitals or from the streets after being abandoned by their mothers from day 1 of their lives.
I don't really want to question myself, why are they there? I know I'm there to take care for them and love them.
For about 26 years, Mama Imani has been doing this, but you may wonder why she has decided not to bear children of her own womb. She is now 50 years old.
I made a little choice when I turned 24, 25, that I don't want to make a baby when I have all these beautiful babies. I don't think I can make a better baby than this. So if I can make somebody, if God will tell me to bring Jesus, I could say yes. But if a normal baby like this, I'm satisfied and I'm very happy.
About 400 children find love and care here, with 7 branches across the country.
High start.
Such fondness keeps Mama Imani away from the love of men, she affirms.
Oh my God, I have no time for men. I'm so busy. If somebody give me a date, I forget.
Tabitha is 24 now. She was picked from the streets of Mlango Kubwa, Nairobi in the year 1992.
So this was your bed?
This bed that she started using at the age of 1.5 reminds her of many things.
My parent alikuwa mama wa mtaa, so katika harakati za kufukuzwa na Kanjo and the rest, I'm told, and ndio aliniacha mtaani.
Take a look at this beautiful, tender face of Grace Imani. Grace got burned when her mother abandoned her at a dumping site in Kayole at the age of 1. She's now 7 and has decided to start a clean-up exercise every Saturday dubbed Mtaa Safi.
Sitaki mtoto mwingine achomeke kama mimi penye nimechomeka.
Mama Imani tells me that once these lovely souls reach the age of 6 months, their parents are free to pick them up. However, since the establishment of this center, no mother has come out for their children. Just like Tabitha, who has completed her business administration degree and moved on with her life.
Ndio wangenitafuta wakati ule, so sijawatafuta tena. Niko comfortable, I have a family.
In case there are modern heroes and heroines to be listed, perhaps you might be tempted to mention Mama Imani.
I'm not at all. I'm just a mother and a servant of God.
Ni shujaa kabisa yule. Ni shujaa sana.
Clearly, everyone has an opportunity to bring beauty and smiles to many in their generations, and by that, getting into the books of heroes. Lofty Matambo, KTN News, in Kayole, Nairobi.
Welcome back. Let's take some sports news now. And Cameroon secured a 1-0 win over Harambee Starlets in a friendly match played at the Kasarani Stadium. Christine Mani converted a second-half penalty to earn the visitors a win. Starlets were using the match in their build-up to taking part in this year's edition of the Africa Women's Cup of Nations. Now, Lucy Cheriot and Jose Amwok are the winners of the 11th edition of the Safaricom Madoka Half Marathon that took place in Taita Taveta County with over 2,000 athletes participating. Cheriot won the female category of the 21-kilometer race in a time of 1 hour, 19 minutes and 24 seconds, followed by Edith Chelimo, while Pauline Wangoi finished third. In the men's race, Jose Amwok crossed the finish line in a time of 1 hour, 7 minutes and 14 seconds. Nicodemus Kipkirui was second, while Simon Kiluthi was third. Winners of the 21 kilometers men's and women's races received a cash prize of 500,000 Kenya shillings each, with the second and third positions taking home 250,000 shillings and 100,000 shillings. The Safaricom Madoka Half Marathon is the 7th long-distance race in the 2016 Safaricom Athletics Series calendar.
And maybe within the next year or so, we could have a world champion from this region.